We will dive into the subject right away. We'll start with Mr. Avinash Mishraji. We have seen your excellent presentation. We have heard why the water audit. But going by the audience who are in this auditorium today, would you please tell us what is the process involved in a water audit? How is it conducted? Let us say we'll not look at the macro level because that you have already given us. But let us say a micro level, this hotel building. If this hotel building wants to go through a water audit, can you please tell us a step-by-step procedure and how it can be done, please?
You see, first we will see how to optimize the water consumption. So the water consumption can be optimized. Actually, if you see with the pipe fittings, pipelines, some of them might be leaking. So that needs to be rectified, and also there need to be flow meters to see at various level where within the premises the leakages are happening, which is hidden or which is underground or which is in such shaft which is not visible. Except this, we will also go for low flow fixtures and faucets. After that, the water consumption will largely get optimized. With that, we'll segregate the wastewater which is getting generated from the one part, which is the bathing part, or which is the wash basin part, drinking part, and that will be treated and will be supplied back to the for using the flushing or for mopping, for gardening. So we would actually optimize and rotate the consumption of the water. But it will not be like this. It will be treated. Nowadays, all good treatment facilities are available. With that, it would be treated. MBR is there. UV is there. Means the type of treatment can be decided depending upon its uses, laundry and all other. So that way it can be done. So quite a good number of the quality, good quantum of water can be reused, and the real intake of water will be minimized to a great extent.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll elaborate on that. We will come back to you again. We will ask for more information from you. I'll move on to architect Mr. VBL Narasimham. Mr. Narasimham, you have worked with the civic authorities. We'd like to know from you, how do the urban water bodies affect the quality of life of the citizens?
Okay.
This question is more important because we've been rapidly losing all our urban water bodies, whether it is lakes or ponds or even catchment areas for that matter. How do they affect the quality of life of the citizens?
Well, fundamentally, we need to understand starting from hydrological cycle, how the precipitation happens and how does it get distributed in terms of evaporation, transpiration, and surface runoff, soil moisture, and aquifer recharging. So these are the 5 elements where the water gets distributed. So the point is, we in urban areas, I have worked on New Delhi city for about 30 years. We have taken the growth of the New Delhi city way back, and in 30 years, the change in the rainfall pattern. So we have taken the data from the Met department, and we have come up and understood as to how much of surface runoff. Primarily, we focused on surface runoff. That is our main concern even today in many cities. How the impervious and pervious, the surfaces, there is a constant change in all our urban areas. The cities are growing. So how much of Mother Earth was there earlier and how much of Mother Earth is left today, how much of impervious surfaces have come up. So because of which, we don't have much water, it's running off. We are ending up into flash floods. We are now having a huge climate change where cloud bursts are happening. Now we are hearing about cloud rivers. I mean, I don't know how many of you heard, cloud rivers is a new phenomenon which is coming in a big way. You know, kilometers of length, kilometers of width, and 3 kilometers of height or so. These are the new trends, new phenomena happening in 2024. So the whole rainfall pattern is changing, and urban areas, we are going on, you know, closing the pervious surfaces where the water sinking into soil. The soil is getting deprived of soil moisture content, and we are not allowing percolation to aquifer recharging. So the rivers are going, you know, there are several rivers, they say. So the rivers, you know, the top layers are all drying up, and we are ending up into thousands of feet below, trying to mine the water, what he has used just now. So this is how the whole urban areas are changing. Now, with this huge growth, high-rise and, spreading, gated communities and all that, a lot of water is used and thrown. So where is it going? So it's going into the surrounding lakes. We have so many lakes, and last 50 years or 100 years, if we see, these are, check dams, basically. They are all check dams, which was there in urban areas and agricultural areas, rural areas. So these check dams, we have, made bigger bunds and made the, transportation over it. And these are, being polluted. See, what is a happy life for a urban, person who is living is fresh air, fresh water, and good soil, good aquifer water. These are the things. But we are polluting all of these panchabhutas. So to say, these panchabhutas, we are polluting everything. So what needs to be done today is there has to be...
Allow me to
just finish it.
Mr. Narasimhan. I would like to ask you a supplementary and a simple question.
Yeah.
When a water body vanishes, more so particularly in an urban area, in almost all the cases, the water body is replaced with a building. So is it a happy scenario that you have more dwelling space being added to the urban areas, or is it a sad scenario that you're losing water? Give me a very crisp answer.
Crisp answer is Chennai. You see, in 2016-18, there were 3, lakes which were there in the middle of Chennai city, the whole area. They have all vanished. Even in Hyderabad, there are several lakes which have vanished, but luckily not major. But in Chennai, it happened in a big way. So the center of Chennai got, shockingly flooded. And now it's happening in Bengaluru. Bengaluru, again, higher topography, no doubt, but it's happening there also. In Hyderabad, we have these lakes which are getting polluted. The urgent need is something which has been done in Singapore, just about 6 years, 8 years back, deep tunnel sewerage systems. See, this is the need of the hour today. And we have to take it to a certain point and treat the whole thing and bring it back for reuse for certain industrial purposes and all that.
When we're talking about reusing, I'll take the next question to Mr. Vijay Sai. Hyderabad is one of the cities which has started early the system of not allowing groundwater for major constructions. And I'm told that you need to purchase treated water for reuse for construction. What will be the impact of this practice on the cost of building? Is it better? Does it increase the cost or does it decrease the cost? And in case if it decreases the cost, is that benefit being passed on to the buyers? Yes, if you use treated water.
Where do we get the treated water?
From the STPs that we're talking about, we have interception and diversion nalas and all that. So we still continue to use only the groundwater?
As a developer, I'm a developer, we'll be investing on infrastructure and actually establishing the STPs. The STPs, they have to pay commercial charges for maintaining the STP. So after the builder actually goes out and when the maintenance was taken up by the associations, because of the huge power bill and because of the maintenance cost of the STPs, so most of the development resident welfare associations stop treating the water. So that is the major problem. We also represent to the government to actually create some marketability for the treated water wherever actually they were treated properly by the Resident Welfare Association. The other problem is, unless actually there is a marketability, if there are 3 towers, only 1 tower treated water will be sufficient for the whole project. What is happening today is the other 2 tower waters will be treated and discharged into the drainage. So there is no way. They have to actually create a source and the mechanism to collect all these waters, and they can actually start using at least for the medians.
So do you foresee a possibility that you'll have mega-sized water refineries in future?
Yes, instead of actually insisting on development at source, they can have actually captive treatment plants, which is viable, instead of actually having the small STPs in the residential and gated welfare association, because they don't have mechanism or the expertise to maintain and manage these welfare associations.
So
STPs.
on this note, if you say we are talking about a mechanism and design and all that, let me go to Mr. Shekhar Reddy. Sir, would you please enlighten us what are the continuing norms that IGBC is bringing in to make water more protected, more respected, more treated? Progressively, can you quickly take us on the evolutionary path and what we can expect in future?
Yeah, fundamentally, Gurmitji has taken us through a lot of presentation, and other experts also told us about the water. And we at IGBC, basically in all our ratings, so we recommend the low flow pictures, low flow pictures, water conservation, water saving, that is the most important parameter in all IGBC rating. About 70% of the water can be treated and reused. And we have almost 14,000 odd projects registered with us across the country. And almost 40, for every day, all the registered projects, they save about 45,000 KL per 1 million square foot of built-up space per annum. That is a parameter, so multiplied by so many buildings, so many square foot, that much of savings are there. And now new trend is net zero water, net zero energy, net zero waste, and carbon neutral. So now many projects are registered under the net zero water also. I think there are a lot of benefits out of this. And as Vijay Sai said, we got 2 extremes of water treatment. One is project-wise, another is a large STPs, particularly in our city. But both are failure. In Japan, they have a localized STPs. In fact, if you have localized colony-wise STPs, if you can outsource anybody, they will in fact pay royalty to the local body. They market that water, regular water, they sell, they maintain the quality, everything. Now it's not happening. The moment, as Vijay Sai said, we hand over to the residents, they won't operate it because of the high tariff. So maybe tomorrow, if we can source solar power.
So let me ask, we are talking about if the residents do not maintain and there is an issue. Let me ask you, sir, now please tell us what happens in your buildings. You have got so many buildings all over, and do your residents, or we call RWS, Resident Welfare Associations, really maintain these STPs? Or like the general perception is there that it is only a hogwash and we really don't maintain because of the cost or any other reasons?
Yeah, it's true that, after 2-3 years, they really don't maintain it. 2 reasons for that: because there are no qualified staff available to maintain it. That's a big problem, the residents, because our communities are large. It's not that they don't want to maintain it because of running cost of it, because they are not finding the right operator to maintain it. So what we decided, we did face a lot of problems, because it's very important that we spend a lot of money to putting these STPs and the systems. So we decided that we take over the maintenance initially for 5 years, and okay, it's under association only, but we run the complete STPs. That was the interim solution we found it in the last 3 years. So maybe we will extend that to the 10 years. Fortunately, now in the market, you have these STP vendors which have come as a boot. They invest it, they operate it, they completely maintain it. I think that model is proving to be very successful.
Does it add to the cost of maintenance to be paid by a resident, or it will save money? Bottom line, everything relates to economy. I am told LED lights have become popular not because of their technology or luminescence, but because they are cheaper. Likewise, does this practice of giving away your STPs in a boot concept to anybody, does it save money on cost of maintenance, or it will increase?
No, now, that is the only future way of going for STPs, especially in the large communities. Because when we talk to the residents, it's not that they are against maintaining the STPs. Neither they don't have the time to maintain the STPs, because if STP is broken down for 2-3 days, to put it back, it takes 15-20 days. And now all our communities, we have made it mandatory that all the flushing water and all this is through the STPs only. And okay, we have a luxury today in Hyderabad that fortunately government is supplying a lot of water. If you go back 15...
This comes from far off.
Sorry?
This water comes from far off. It's not
very far off. But very people are not realizing the value of water.
Right.
Honestly, 15 years back, the water scarcity was there. People used to really care for water. Today, people think water is a very cheap commodity. Very cheap commodity.
So on that note, let me go to the government person. We have Mr. Lingareddy, who is the chief engineer. Sir, with all due respect, even though your domain expertise is electricity, but still I'll ask you a few questions. Because to make this water available to the residents, a lot of electricity is consumed, right? How do you see? You've also been in charge for two major projects, I'll say. One is the Martyrs Memorial, one is the Telangana Secretariat, which are on the shore of the water body of Hussain Sagar itself. But during your term, that when you were handling these projects, have you thought of any new methods or new approaches, not only on electricity, but also on water? Any incidents or anything that you would like to tell us?
Yes, sir. In any building, energy conservation and conservation of water is more important. In the buildings, we have appointed the best consultant and taken the design, and we have done the efficient plumbing design in the secretariat and other buildings. We have used the conservation, energy efficient, these all water conservation fixtures, latest fixtures, and PRVs, good plumbing system, and rainwater harvesting system is used, and STPs also. We are using in all buildings recycled water also. We are making the zero footprint of the water. We are saving the water without wasting, and we are maintaining the system with the facility management regularly. We are not wasting the water anywhere.
So we understand that the government is also looking now seriously in saving water and conserving water, unlike earlier.
Yeah, earlier we have not that much used the technology. Now everywhere we are using the latest technology and we are updating the everywhere, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I'll go back to Mr. Avinash Mishra. Mishra ji, would you please tell us that do you foresee in the near future that the water audit becomes a mandatory point for any building? Do you foresee that water audit will become maybe an annual issue, like you have certain other licenses? In Maharashtra, your elevators require an annual license, and you require a fire license renewed every few years or whatsoever. So do you see that all major buildings beyond a certain size have to go in for a mandatory water audit in future, and will it help?
No, actually, for namesake, audit may not be there. But as I just cited and shown in the presentation, the government notification that very clearly says that now every facility has to do the extended user responsibility certification. And that is nothing but the audit. So audit has already become now a part of the regulation.
Okay.
So it is there.
Thank you very much. I'll go to Mr. Narsimham, Architect Narsimham. Because you have had a background in working on urban lakes, now what do you look at the economical impact of the Musi River beautification and rejuvenation project that the government is talking about now? Let us talk only the economic impact.
Okay. Way back in 2002, when CBN was the chief minister, he invited EPC, Environmental Planning Collaborative, architect Bimal Patel, who has designed our new parliament building also from Ahmedabad. So he formed a team with all of us. I was the landscape consultant and electrical and various other, Vishwanath also was part of the team. So we worked on it for 2 years. In 2003, December or so, he has submitted to CBN, the Chief Minister, that it's a 450 crores project, where it was very well planned, the river drives, the trunk sewers, the, receiving, because the Hyderabad topography is such that from northwest to southeast, we have the slope, the whole city, and the river Musi flowing towards Krishna. So, this along the, we planned for 20 kilometers. Now they are talking about 55 kilometers. So, from outer ring road to outer ring road. So, we didn't have outer ring road then. So, it was around 500 crores was the project cost. And suddenly the government changed and kept aside. And our great architect went to Ahmedabad and showed it to Modi, who was Narendra Modi, who was the chief minister then. And Narendra Modi said, why not we do just change, they have changed the name of the river, Sabarmati river, and they have done it in 1,000 crores. They have completed the project. I mean, this is broadly, I understand.
But this is only retaining part of all or part of it.
The principles they have taken there and they have done the whole job. They have completed. 2012, he presented us in one of the national conferences. So all of you know the Chinese premier was taken there and inaugurated. So they have done a nice job, the center of the whole length of the lake.
So do you foresee that we will do an equivalently?
No, I'm coming to the point. The point is we don't need such huge amounts. We need reasonable amounts. First of all, where is the water coming from? That has to be taken care of, arrested, cleaned, and probably from the industrial effluence that is coming from the northwest of the city towards the river. So that can be cleaned and then the water can be left into the river so that the river water is clean, and maybe a check dam at the beginning and at the end of the 55-kilometer stretch so that the water is always available, and maybe some mechanism to let it keep flowing, so that no still water is there. No bacteria, no mosquitoes, no nonsense. And along the river, all you need to do is you have the historic precinct that is just perpendicular to Charminar, and we have the High Court and the hospital and State Library and
Osmania Hospital, High Court,
museum. So that is a beautiful historic precinct that we have. That can be carefully designed so that nice activities, compatible activities can come in there. And we have to eliminate incompatible activities which are there right now. And as all of you are hearing now, the FTL, the buffer zones have to be cleared because those are the floodplains. Let me tell you one thing. People are saying that for lakes and river, I have patta land on my name. So they have bought it from some farmer. The farmer was given, these are what they're called as, what pattas?
They're called assigned lands.
No, 1 minute. There is a word to it. Shikam pattas. These are shikam pattas given by the rulers then to people to cultivate. When the water is full, their cultivation is gone. And when the water recedes, those floodplains are very rich and fertile with microorganisms and biodiversity, everything. So they are supposed to grow vegetables and things like that. They are not supposed to erect any structure in the FTL or the buffer zone. This is the mistake people are doing. Even Nagarjuna, I think, I'm just taking name, he is also thinking Patta land is his own. But it's not. He could have constructed the same a little away so that it could have been, kept aside, nothing damage would have happened. Anyway, this is a broad picture. So, Musi River requires today maybe 2,000 crores at the most. And
11 kilometers long.
11 kilometers. Ours is 55 kilometers. So,
You have to tell, no?
some marquee projects we can plan from the beginning, and mid is all historic precincts, and then we can again plan towards the Nagol and the other ends into bigger international players coming in and making it a beautiful river environment, no doubt.
Well, you're presenting a beautiful picture. You're already visualizing in that. But then before we get carried away by those dreams, I want to ask a very harsh question to Mr. Vijay Sai. What do you think this city needs to do to prevent a day zero like we have seen in Bangalore and we have seen in Delhi? I guess we are not very far away from the day zero. How do we postpone it indefinitely, if not altogether erase it?
Shortage of water.
Yes.
First, we need to sensitize the society. So, most of the times we actually participate in conferences like this, and then we will not really follow them. There is, I think, younger generation here. You can ask them actually how many are using buckets instead of showers. So the problem is we will only actually discuss and we will participate in conferences, but we will not follow them in true spirit when you go back to our houses. For Hyderabad, fortunately we have River Krishna and Godavari supplying to Hyderabad. So we are lavishly using the water. Why do actually government actually supply water freely to not affordable, luxury housing complexes? Whenever actually something is given free, we have the tendency of actually using it abusively.
So what we understand is the cost of water has to be identified. And then that cost needs to be imposed judiciously on the user.
100%. And I think that they should start water auditing. Commercial complexes is there. Even for residential complex also, you should start enforcing all these measures.
There was an argument for quite some time that the Hyderabad Metro Water Supply and Sewerage Board should actually start metering the discharge from the buildings and not the inflow of the water into that. What is your take on that?
Yes, they have to actually do it, provided they have the mechanism actually to collect that data.
Okay. Shekhar Reddy garu, will you please tell us, you've always been a visionary, you've always been thinking of tomorrow. What kind of legislations that we are likely to see regarding water in the near future? Legislations. Any new law, any new rules or something that can be brought to conserve water? Do you think that we are in for any new such laws?
No. Slab, how it... Oh, you mean to say per head so many liters consumption? No, already national standards are there. Maybe one is recycling and reusing the water, and going for the water efficiency fitting and fixtures, mandatory, make it mandatory, and maybe this STPC version you have to change. See, suppose Ravi Sai Garu is treating, but he is not able to use 100% water. What to do with excess water? He is just pumping outside. He is treating and pumping. So if outsourcing agency is there, you will use it for industrial purpose or maybe auto servicing, different purposes you use it. But as a developer, as a community, welfare association, we cannot use that. So the locality wise, that system comes, then that excess water can be reused so that the original intake will come down drastically. The original intake from the sea and the pumping will come down. And definitely, I think as a nation, we should have a control on the water. Water is life. So maybe we have to save it for future generations. And water is for the nature. Nature, if the water is there, nature is there, the greenery is there, farmers will survive. Let this water go to the farmer. And definitely we should have a cap per head or something like that. We should have a cap. Unless we have that restriction, we are liberal.
Fantastic, sir. With that, I'll go to Mr. Sai.
No value. Or maybe the value of the water should go up. cost of the what you call the whatever you are supplying water to the citizen after certain level. Suppose you are given so many liters. After that is the premium water.
Right. So with that, I'll go back to Mr. Sai Garu. How do you sensitize residents in your buildings about water?
I think it's a big challenge, sensitizing the people.
Do you meter water flow into each apartment?
Yeah, there's meters are available. But the problem is that I think we have taken this as a two-part solutions. One is, I think the first thing what is in my hand is, how do I use the technology to reuse the water or, recycle the water? What we did was, after putting the STP, as you said, a lot of water we have to still throw it out. We looked at it. Now, in every house, most of this, you have air conditioners. There is very little. So why don't I go for centralized air conditioning system, where I can use this complete water? I not only reduce the energy because centralized air conditioning.
No, you're talking about a project to project level. I'm talking about the individual resident. How do you sensitize them?
No, that's what I said. Sensitizing them, it's a very long-term and challenging. We are conducting some sort of a training. Unless they sensitize themselves, we cannot achieve the ultimate objectives.
So that is a challenge.
That's a big challenge. But what we are doing is, technology is with us. So right at the design stage, how do I implement? That is in my hand. So we are adopting those technological things like rainwater.
Fine.
Right now it's only hardly 5% or 10% we are using it. So how do I increase the storage? But people are reluctant to use that as a drinking water.
Fine, fantastic.
Happening is that every flat has a meter now.
That's a question that I asked, whether metering it to every flat
Metering is
already
there.
become mandatory.
But what is so cheap?
Okay, fine. So I'll go back to Lingareddy Garu again, because he's a government man. Do you think this government will put the actual cost of water on the consumer and increase the water tariff? Or will this government also continue to go for appeasement and say 25,000 liters of water per month is free?
The cost should be increased after certain level. They have to fix the per head this much water is required. If that limit is crossed.
We see most of the water taps never close in those areas where water is specially supplied free of cost. I'm talking about slums and bastis and so on and so forth. Is there something that we can do about it? They just don't close.
Yes, that should be controlled. If any excess water is there, if overflow is there, if the limit is crossed, automatically they should be penalized.
I think you need stick also to control it.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much with that. No, we'll come back to that. We will just take one question from anybody in the audience. One question. Otherwise, we'll take the questions offline. Yeah, madam has... can somebody pass on the mic, please? Madam, please identify yourself and ask a very...
I'm Mrs. Mathur, and I would like to ask a question to the government person. When we have the solar energy which is produced by the solar panels in excess in households, the electricity board is said to be taking it reverse and yes, reverse meter. Exactly. And why can't the water system also be done in the same way with the STPs? Then in that case we would be saving that water too. Can you suggest
It's a great thought. Please give her a clap.
Can you suggest it to the government?
Yeah,
She's telling you to take back treated water.
That should be examined and it will be taken to the notice of the higher authorities and we'll see that part.
Okay.
Thank you very much, madam. That's a very thought-provoking question that you asked. No, we'll take it offline. We'll take... Okay, 30 seconds I'm giving you for your... 30 seconds.
See, I was working in Middle East for 3 years, and in Dubai and some of the Middle East countries. In 2005, they were collecting whatever, we have sewage lines going, right, of the whole city. So wherever it is finally collected, it is treated and reverse lines are laid. The treated water is supplied back. Those who want, they can apply. individual apartment complexes cannot handle all these things. It has to be done by government only.
Sir, done.
And the reverse water which is coming, 30% is sold to industrial units where they make all the money for incurring the expenditure on that infrastructure.
Great.
And 70% they are using for, the horticulture of the whole city. See, why city of Dubai is so colorful, beautiful petunias, so many beautiful plants and trees. The grass is very expensive, patented grass, bluish hue of green lawn. So all these are possible if government can,
Thank you, sir.
resell. So this is
We'll
is
continue
possible.
the discussion.
Thank
we'll
you.
continue the discussion offline. Thank you very much.
So
that is a splendid discussion that we had. That's a splendid discussion that we had, no doubt. Lot of thoughts. Yes, lot of thoughts have been provoked today. I'm sure we will find answers to all these things. Thank you, my panelists. Thank you very much.